and I'm now working therapeutically with people, and I've developed a program, and I see results in people that are this big and 45 and 60, and they change so much. I pinch myself when I leave half the time, and in a really short space of time. And it fascinates me because I actually don't do very much, and it's so different to the normal kind of approach we have with autism, where we're really training people to do things. I'm about 5 steps back that way, and it's very gentle, but it works. So hopefully by the end of the day, you've got a really lovely grasp of what that is. And I'm still only showing you sort of just the top of it, because you start off slow and then you just get more and more sophisticated once you've got people to develop these skills. And what I'm hoping to do, because there's only one of me, is start training people so that they can start producing this work as well, so people can access it worldwide rather than one little quokka. So this is me. I found the polyvagal theory about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and I found a family with autism, and I recognised myself. There was a dad and a teenager, and I went, I'm an awful lot like that, and that's autism. I work with learning difficulties and brain plasticity all the time anyway, and I'm really good at it. I like how your eyeballs work with your hands and why and what that means for your sort of emotional state. But no one had ever put it together really well. So I found the polyvagal theory, and then I found this family, and I started looking, and I found the polyvagal theory, because the stuff with autism just didn't make sense to me. And the stuff they were doing with autism horrified me, because I studied psychology, and I hate behavioural psychology particularly. A lot of people use it very well, but I inherently find it a bit tricky. And I think there's better ways, especially when you're working with this kind of issue. So the polyvagal theory was just beautiful. And I didn't ask, how many people here know the polyvagal theory well enough? Little tiny bit? 1 or 2 here? Okay, great. You will by the end of the day. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. It's different to the book, what we're doing here today. So the book goes into it in a funny way in more detail, but not. You'll see what I mean by the end of the day. And then the book goes into A.R.T. Banyel's 9 Essentials, which I don't particularly do either, but what I'll do is I sort of embrace them in the way that I work. So I'll sort of discuss it, and you'll see what I mean as well. So I wrote the book. I did a workshop, and I based it on the polyvagal theory and some of A.R.T. Banyel's 9 Essentials, and the parents just went, "Oh my God, thank you, that was amazing. We actually feel hopeful for the first time ever." So I wrote the book, and then I sent it to Stephen Porges, the guy that made the polyvagal theory, and he said, "Thank you so much." So it went from there. I sent it to A.R.T. Banyel, she agreed, and the publishers took it in 2 days. So it was pretty exciting. And so I'm just going to kind of take you through it all. The main thing for autism for me is we so narrowly define it. It's so much more than that. People with autism are wonderful, and we kind of, because of our way of playing with psychology, we do this with it. But then that translates into how people work with people as well, and I don't find that useful. But the other thing that really hit me is just how many food issues and gut problems and all sorts of body issues we have with autism, but it doesn't really come into it. We just go, "Oh, that's just autism." And it's like, well, why? Everyone with autism has a good range of these things. And then as they get older, they have more and more comorbid complications. And again, it's like, well, people with autism just do. And it's like, but why? So you start looking at it, especially as well, the sensory stuff often works quite well. It's sort of, especially with small children, it's how we soothe people and get them back to where they are. But why? And why? And also, if that's real, what does it mean physiologically and neurologically? And how can you drive that kind of change more usefully? And I think that's, I love the work with A.R.T. Banyel. She does amazing work, and there's a lot of people around the world kind of playing with this, but at base, if you start looking at what happens when someone's in a calm state, and neurologically and physiologically what happens, you start teaching that instead, just at base, and things shift. So I did.